we'll just do it like this. How you been?
I've been awesome. Still training. Today we did glutes and hammies and just keep on training. I've got my sights set on my next show. So I'm super focused on that. And
When is
then
that? When's the next show?
it's a big one. My goal is to do the amateur Olympia next year.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's super exciting.
Yeah, so right now I feel like I'm a little kitten, I'm a little cub, and I see all these like giant lionesses running around, and I'm like, I'm gonna grow up to be just like you.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. I was actually at the Amateur Olympia, one of my best friends in the whole world, competed in women's bodybuilding, and it was
Hmm.
just such an amazing treat and honor to be there, to be at the venue. It was amazing being in Vegas on a Monday, Tuesday. It was superb, super empty, and I loved
So,
it. And just to watch her stand on stage was incredible.
yeah, I remember you mentioned that you were there. How was the whole experience?
Surreal. It was
Eh,
surreal. Yeah, especially since this was my first time actually going to see the venue,
hmm
kind of just knowing that that's where the best in the world are going to be standing on stage. It was like, wow. And I saw some people.
Yeah.
I actually saw Sydney Gillen, like she was walking down the halls, and I'm like trying not to look at her like a weirdo because I like, oh my God, it's her, it's the legend. And there was this guy walking in front of us, and she was like, "Hey, sunshine." And for a second, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's talking to me." And then the guy responded, "Hey, Sid." And I'm like, "Oh, she's not talking to
Oh,
me.
wait a
That's
minute. That's not to me.
that's
Okay.
not, no, it's not to me." But still, and then there was this other lady that I follow, Meg. I saw her in the stands, and I'm like looking over at her. I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I watch her. She's amazing. And I'm like, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't stare, don't be that weird fangirl. Just, don't look.
Yeah, Sydney is super nice. I met her a few times. She's very sweet. It's like one of the things that's very endearing, about her is that she's so nice. So it's rough when you meet somebody who you really like and they don't turn out to be like, a nice person, but she's absolutely the opposite. Like she will stand there and talk to you forever. So yeah, I think she was a really good representative of the division and the sport for sure.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I love to hear that, because they always have that saying, right? Don't meet your heroes or
Hmm.
whatever. And it's just, that's so downheartening. It's so
Yeah,
depressing. And he's like, oh, don't meet your heroes. But it's like, no, you put these people on a pedestal for a reason, and you don't want
right.
them to just be a champion, the external. You want them to be champion on the internal too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm glad you got to go. Like I've never been to the Olympia. I've been to the Arnold multiple times, but I've never been to Olympia. Was there a good expo there, or was it mainly like the show was the main attraction?
So at least for the amateur portion, it was really just the show. And I was just there for Tuesday to watch my
Mm-hmm.
friend compete. So I didn't see any of the men's divisions.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did see them setting up that outside gym, the outdoor gym,
Hmm.
Dragon's Lair, I believe it was. They were setting up all the
Yeah.
arsenal equipment. I got my souvenir, my big old Olympia sweatpants. The Resorts World, the host hotel was absolutely beautiful. It was just stunning. So it was kind of
Well,
nice to get in there before, like, the whole rush came and really got to soak it all in. So I really enjoyed that.
yeah, I think Dragon's Lair. I think that's Flex Lewis's thing that I think he does. He's like sets up over there. So yeah, I heard it was pretty cool. So I never get a chance to go, but yeah, I heard it was really cool. So
It was awesome.
great.
How are you doing?
I'm doing just working, training clients. I didn't get a chance to train myself today, but I just trained a couple of clients. So yeah, so I mean, just one day at a time, trying to surviving.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm excited for you though. Coming up in the doing the Amateur Olympia is a pretty pretty big one. It's a big show.
It's a big goal, but I'm up for the challenge. I feel super locked in, getting body fat measured, staying on top of, my diet, staying on top of my training, with my coach. We've had amazing lifts this past few weeks, like the strongest I've been since just the strongest I've been, period. Like PRs almost.
What do you attribute that to? You think you just like kind of during that improvement season you're putting a little more calories in, or like what do you why do you think you've gained so much strength?
Honestly, right now I'm not on any cycle at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only truly attribute it to number one, getting that extra calories. And number two, once my mind was like, we're going to step on the Olympia stage, it was just a mind shift. It was like, okay, I need to lock in like I've never locked in before. Because I know there's gonna be so many people that are gonna be there that they're gonna bring their A game, and I have to bring my A game like I've never
Yeah,
brought before. So I think a lot of that was just selecting my goal and
sure.
recognizing what it's going to take to get there.
Sure. No, that totally makes sense. I think the mind, it plays a huge factor into your training and just preparing for shows and everything like that. I think the body just kind of follows what the mind does. You have a weak mind, the body can only follow that. So if you have a strong mind, you're prepared, you take things seriously, your body's going to follow that as well. So for
Exactly.
sure. For sure. So, speaking about the Olympia, we were going to talk, the main reason why you came on is because we were going to talk about the figure and the physique division. So, let's just go ahead and kind of start off. So, the top five for figure were Rhea Gale, Lola Montez, Jessica Reyes, Denise Zwinger, and Nicole Zenobia Graham. So what did you think, just kind of initial impressions, overall impressions of the figure competition?
They Here's one thing that I love about the figure division, especially in comparison to other divisions like, say, bikini and
Hmm.
fit model, we don't have a standard for.
Right.
At least with figure and physique and women's bodybuilding, we really have a standard to follow. And it's been a very consistent standard, right?
Hmm.
Um, I'll even go into physique a little bit. Sarah Villegas, we'll touch on a little bit later.
Hmm.
She
For
has
sure.
won. This would have been, if she would have won, would have been her fifth Olympia win. She won 2020, 2021, 23, and 24. Very consistent. Sydney Gillen needs no introduction. She's won eight. She retired on the highest note. So, what I love about Rhea winning is I felt that the standard sticks.
Mm.
I really feel like out of all the competitors there, she was the one with the body, the most she was the most true representation of the division as set forth by Sydney Gillen's standard.
And like when you say that, and we talked about this a little off air. I personally, thought Lola was going to win, but I think part of that is also just because what I like to see in figure, but the judges obviously saw it differently. So when you say it most mimicked Sydney, in what are you referring to specifically? Is there certain aspects of the physique that kind of are similar to hers? Is that, can you talk about that?
Yes. So what I noted is her proportions seemed very, very similar to said. Very broad lats. She had incredible lats, which made her waist look extra tiny. Lola's waist was very small too. However, when I noticed the two side by side, I didn't feel that Lola's vacuum really did her any justice. I would give the better ab development to Rhea Gale, along with this illusion of the smaller waistline. So I don't know if Rhea's suit, like the way she had it positioned, because it seemed a little higher, I don't know if that played a part, but for what it's worth, when she got into that front pose, her waist just disappeared. And it was
Mm,
amazing. And I feel that the posing routines differed in that Lola is very sultry. She's very sensual with her posing, and I love it. I do enjoy that. However, when I look at Rhea's posing and Sydney's posing, they're not as sensual per se. They're a little bit more, I want to say playful, but just more like I'm just, you're very muscular Barbie girl next door. How you doing?
mhm,
Kind of thing. You know
mhm,
what I mean? It's
mhm.
got a little bit more of a playful, happy. She's got that giant smile on her face, that megawatt smile, and it's a little bit more friendly as
Yeah,
opposed to Lola's, which is incredibly sensual and very beautiful.
gotcha, gotcha. So they obviously, agreed with you with regard to that decision. I feel a little, I don't know, like I guess a little down for Jessica because
Mhm.
Jessica has been fighting for that championship for years. And with Sydney being in there, nobody was going to take it. And I know for a fact that she thought that she was going to be a shoe-in for this. She already won I believe the
Masters.
Masters, and so I think she thought she was going to be a shoe-in for this, and coming in third, I think really probably hurt her heart a little bit. I mean, honestly, between her and Lola, they're very similar in the sense of they're much more of a muscular, harder, more lines physique as opposed to Rhea. She's just a little more a little more beauty. There's a combination of softness with lines there. Similar to Sydney. So I felt like Lola and Jessica compared against each other much better. I guess I could have had them either way, 2-3, either one. But I know Jessica was probably pretty hurt by that she didn't win the Olympia. So
There's one thing that I noticed this year, and I feel like this is kind of the huge controversy, is at least in figure, women's figure, and especially in bikini, the judges just done up and changed the rules. I feel like they were looking for more of a softer overall appearance, at least from the women.
right. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. And it's difficult because as you're watching the show, you have to kind of take your own personal bias out of it, and it's very difficult because I'm more biased to a harder, more lines, more you know, like a stronger looking physique. But then I'm also trying to see it from the judge's point of view where they're trying to avoid having figure turn into something that they don't want it to be.
Mhm.
There's been complaints already about figure girls getting too big, and so I think they're trying to avoid getting that to the next level like that. They don't want it to be a kind of situation where you have with women's bodybuilding where it got so big, where it got so I don't know if unattractive is the right word, but just to the point where people just didn't want to look at it anymore. And so like I don't think figure is anywhere near that, but I think they're trying to combat that. And I think they were doing it with Sydney, and I think it's obvious that they also want to just keep the same flow, with the standard. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I love that harder. I love that big muscle. I love that big
mhm.
condition. I love it. I really do. For me, there's nothing more attractive than, amazing female muscle balanced with a very natural looking face, a very
Mhm.
beautiful face. And trying to walk that line is incredibly tricky. It is very
Yeah.
tricky.
Yeah, I totally agree. I tell you who really impressed me, and I don't, I feel like that's, let me see here. Give me just a second. I'm gonna try to share this screen. Let me know if you can see it. Give me one second. So share, okay. I'm also technologically. Um, distraught over here. Let me see. Desktop two. There you go. Okay, perfect. Share. See my screen here.
Almost.
Let me see here.
Punch
Yeah,
out for a bigger view. Okay. Oh, are we
perfect.
talking about the blonde girl, Denise?
Yes.
I
I thought
have
didn't
such a girl crush on her. It's unbelievable. This was her Olympia debut, and for her to like be in the top 5 at her Olympia debut, I've got such a girl crush on this woman. I really do. She
I,
looks amazing. She's beautiful. I love her.
yeah, I think Denise, you know, I know the judges want what they want. I know that you can make an argument for all the girls, but honestly, if I was judging this show, I mean, Denise would definitely be a contender for me. I think she was, she stood out. She stood out. The eyes really
Yes.
went to her, muscularity, flow, structure, overall look. Um,
Mhm.
I just think she really, really stood out, and it wouldn't surprise me. They're not really big now into keeping the same Olympia champion for many years, just all over, just in general with all the divisions. I know Sydney has been winning him for quite a while, but I think we're kind of past that era, and
Mhm.
so it wouldn't surprise me if she became a contender very, very quickly because I think a lot of people were very impressed with her. So,
I 100% agree. And I'm looking at this picture. She has incredible delt caps. I feel like I think Rhea's lats were a little bit better, which made her waist look a little bit smaller. But those delt caps and those legs really like that's what figure is all about. It's about symmetry, front, back, side to side. And I feel
mhm.
like this girl has incredible symmetry. I love her overall look. That blonde hair is amazing, especially against that tan. Ah, she's got an incredibly bright future.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, look at I feel like she's just, she knows how to stand even when she's not, the prime person that's being looked at per se, she knows how to stand just right to, she
Mhm.
doesn't relax too much. She puts herself in the right position. And you can see just from this angle right here, it's like she knows how to show her frame and her body off, and I think that's I think I think she's gonna be quite interesting to follow in the future, and it wouldn't surprise me if she was a real heavy contender very soon. Sorry, this is the one thing about skipping through these is there's no real way to to be able to skip it just exactly at the right time,
It's
because we
all good. We can see a couple of the other figure girls. They were all so beautiful. I absolutely love. Where is this girl? There she is, Lena Romsteiner, number 20. She has just got the megawatt smile that I absolutely adore. I would,
Which one? Which one are you
she's in the
talking about?
purple curly hair, number 20.
All
She's
right.
just got a megawatt smile. She's just so cute. It's cute as a little button.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Erica Morgan, was there, and I thought I liked her better in last year's Olympia. It's interesting. So like with women, and I think it plays a part into the male divisions outside of open bodybuilding. Um, the hair and like your presentation with everything outside of the muscle also plays a large factor. And I feel like the way she had her hair, kind of like flopped up, didn't didn't make her that appealing. And so last year she had like her hair all the way like everything down, which is much better. And it's weird because it's like just the hair itself makes a difference with how you view the physique. And the physique is really, close to the same, but just the little changes in in the aesthetics makes a big difference, and that just goes to show you that the presentation is such a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're going on best of the best. You gotta have everything dialed in. You really do. The hair, the makeup, the tan, the jewelry, the everything. Everything counts at that level. Everything counts.
Yeah. Let me
Well,
see
there's
here.
Missy. I love
Yeah.
Missy.
So what do you think about Missy? How do you feel she did? Do you feel like this was appropriate? Let me see where she placed. So she placed 10th.
I think.
Yeah, this is her first figure competition. Although, in fitness they do the figure posing and everything like that, but the physiques are a little different because they do have to do the physical aspect of it, the tumbling and all that. So what do you think about her look here?
I don't think it I don't think it's a bad look, but I feel like she's gonna be another one to follow because I feel like she's gonna be able to come in better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
it's not a bad physique at all by any stretch of the imagination, but it just doesn't scream it's just not there yet. That's the
right.
really the best I could say.
Right. I think it's just not as developed as the other girls. They've been competing, the other girls have been competing in figure and just dialing everything in to the utmost for years. And, Missy, this is her first debut in figure. Um, it's different, it's different. Even though like the posing is the same as
Mhm.
fitness, it's just different peak the way you peak for figure as opposed to peaking for fitness is different. So I think she will continue to get better. I think she's going to be, like you said, somebody to look at. Also, she has that Olympia experience. She's been an Olympia champion. She knows what it takes. She knows how to get, to be the top, at the top. So I think we're going to see her do very well.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. It's just a
yeah,
matter of time for that one.
for sure. For sure. Yeah, let me see the back poses here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at Denise, and she's really holding her own with everyone.
Mhm. Yeah, she's got an impressive physique. Her quads are almost just a shy bigger, and her glute development is crazy.
Hmm.
Honestly,
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they may have docked her a little bit for being a little on the larger, harder side.
Yeah, it's possible. I
Just
mean,
with what
go
they've
ahead.
been looking for this year is just for me, I'm with you. It's a little it's crazy. It's crazy because I do love Denise's look. For me, I think she should have done better. My personal
Hmm.
thoughts. However, with them, I feel trying to really set these clear delineations within the women's divisions so that way they don't get all jumbled. They're going to say, like, no, this is our standard for figure. This is our standard for physique. This is our standard for bikini. So that way there's very clear cut lines. But then I don't know because now we have
Yeah,
more controversy on the bikini side with Maureen's win. So it's the madhouse.
we weren't gonna talk about that, but if you feel like you're, in a position where you want to talk about that a little bit, we definitely can. But let's kind of round out figure here for a second. So Nicole, I think, is gonna about to come up here, and she came in fifth. Um, I think Nicole looked great. I just think her structure and just overall look was, a little lacking in comparison to everyone else. But I don't think she looked bad. I mean, I think she brought a really good look. Let me see. She's about to come out here in a second. Yeah, there was a lot of controversy like this Olympia. It's not only was it like a very stacked Olympia, but it was also the aftermath of the Olympia was big. I think this is like one of the most exciting Olympias we've had in a long time.
It definitely was the Olympia that I would say is most mired in discussion.
Oh,
It's
excuse me.
definitely a heated Olympia.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So that's not Nicole, that's Miriam. Yeah, we don't have to go through every single, posing routine, but so do you feel like the figure was judged appropriately. Like
Yes.
it came out the right way, how it should.
I never want to say right or wrong, especially in bodybuilding, but I definitely feel like it was judged the most appropriately in that I feel that Rhea most mirrored Sydney's set standard.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right. If with regard to that, I think you're 100% right. Did you get to watch women's bodybuilding at all or no? Not
I
really.
just watched the women's amateur bodybuilding.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
caught a couple of glimpses of Andrea, who is absolutely gorgeous and stunning. But as far as women's bodybuilding, I haven't really delved too much into it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, it was interesting, but she really looked phenomenal. I know, like you said, you haven't looked at it, but I mean, she really came in with a very good look, full, hard, almost cartoon like, and so it was pretty amazing. So as far as so let's move on to women's physique. Sarah,
Mhm.
the Olympia, former Olympia champ, multiple Olympia champ. She makes it very clear every time she talks that she's won multiple Olympias, multiple shows. Um, Came in second to Natalia, which you know, I did not feel was controversial. I thought it was very clear. Natalia won. I thought um, Natalia's proportions, her lines, her conditioning was insane. Her waist is non-existent. I really didn't see any reason to give it to Sarah. I thought Sarah didn't even bring in her best. And honestly, I don't know if her best would have beat that Natalia, anyways, but I don't think that she brought in her best. But um, Sarah's an accomplished champion. She has been for many years. So what was your viewpoint of the show between the two of them? Do you think it was judged, appropriately? Like what do you think of their looks?
Natalia won. There
Yeah.
really is no other way to. There really, it's not up for debate.
Yeah.
I watch them pose side by side, front to back, up to down. Natalia, not only did she clearly convey and represent what women's physique has become since it started with DLB in 2013,
Hmm.
she brought the better overall package, starting with the body. Her front double bicep pose, her peaks are way more like they're there. They are very visibly
Hmm.
there. Her lats are incredible. Her ab cuts, insane. Even when you look at the tan, like right down to the tan, where it showcased every single muscle beautifully. She had beautiful flow, beautiful symmetry, beautiful balance. Like if you look at the size of her lats, they come right down, almost like complete perpendicular lines to her quad sweep. Her quad sweep is insane. There truly, for me, was no debate when it came to who won.
Yeah, the quad
Her
sweep
style,
was wild. The quad sweep was
wild.
wild. Like when her quad sweep was something is very I honestly haven't seen anything like it. It was pretty amazing to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I Natalia brought the better overall package. She's beautiful, she's stunning, she's got great stage presence, she's got an amazing smile on stage, and she just brought the better physique.
Hmm. Hmm. So, with that being said, we both agree. I think most people agree, except one person. One person doesn't agree, which is Sarah. Sarah does not agree with that outcome. Not only that, she made it very clear in a couple of posts that she put up. One initially where she essentially claimed that Natalia was using. So she called her an oil Olympia champion. So
Yeah.
you can take that two different ways, right? Like I think the way I took it and the way most bodybuilders took it is that she was accusing her of synthol or some kind of oil like supplementation use to beef up her muscle. Um, the other way you can take it is she just overused oil, on her skin, which to me that doesn't make sense. So I think she was referring to the former. Um, so like what do you think about that? Just, her making that comment. I'll go ahead and say my piece on it. I think it was very it so if you're the former Olympia champion, you're still an Olympia champion. And I think that you have to represent yourself as an ambassador of the sport, even though you may not have the crown now at the moment. You're still viewed as an Olympia champion. I think of somebody like Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler who always represent themselves well and therefore have an extremely large fan base because people love them so much. And so when you start doing things like this, very petty, very just backbiting things, it really turns people against you. And I understand you might be upset. I understand there's some maybe anger there, and maybe you're mad at yourself that you didn't come in your best. And whatever the case may be, I just feel like she should have had somebody tell her, hey, this is not the best route to take. And the thing is when Natalia won, Sarah went and gave her a hug. So now you really look like a hypocrite because you went and gave her a hug when she won, acted like everything was good, you were happy, good sportsmanship, and then shortly after that make a post like that. I thought it was really bad taste to say the least. You can say worse, but to say the least, it was really bad taste. What do you think?
I think it was a very unfortunate thing to do.
Hmm.
And I'm using that word very lightly, because you're right. When you're a champion, not only are you have a champion, with your trophies and your physique, but you also need to be a champion of your mind, and you have to conduct yourself accordingly. Look, number one, who cares if she's using synthol? Who cares if she's doing site injections? Everybody's probably doing it at that level. You really don't want to throw stones in a glass house. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's even if she was, so what? She still brought the better package. Who cares? You know? Number one. Number two, it looks really bad on you as a representative of the Olympia, because people tie your name to the Olympia, especially when you've won 4 times. I get it. You're upset. This would have been her fifth championship win, but that's
Hmm.
just not something you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you're losing supporters. And maybe you don't care about that, and that's fine. I mean, if you don't, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's like if she's using side enhancement oil, or if you're saying that the side enhancement oil doesn't look good, like it wasn't done well, then why, and it's like if it wasn't done well, and you lost anyway, then what does that say? You know what I'm saying? And so because if she was using side enhancement oil and it looks great, then you wouldn't even know. So if you're saying, oh, I noticed, let's just say I noticed that she was using side enhancement oil because I feel like some posts like thought that, oh, well, maybe she had some in her shoulders or something like that. I think that's a joke. She didn't, but or if she did, it was very well done. But I just feel like if you're saying all these negative things about her and you lost anyway to her, it's like, well, what does that say about you? And
It makes her look like a sore loser.
yeah, absolutely.
It just
100%.
makes you look like a sore loser. And when you're a champion, when you do lose, because everyone, you got wins, you got losses, instead of holding yourself accountable for saying, you know what, I didn't bring in my best package. Yes, I could have done better. Instead of taking that loss as a teaching moment, a learning experience, you go and you bash somebody on their win. That
Yeah.
looks that's not what real winners do. That's not what champions do.
Yeah, and what you do is you come back better. You don't say anything. You come back better and and you get your title back. That's what you do. And you support people that beat you because if you feel like you're the best or great, right? Maybe you're not the best in that day, but let's say you're great. And somebody and she, I mean, you can say that about her. She's won a lot of titles. If somebody beats you, you should shake their hand and congratulate them because they just beat somebody that was great, you know? And so when you start posting things like that and saying things like that and trying to cut them down, especially someone that is looked at by most people as being sweet and kind and somebody who's not aggressive and doesn't put people down, you really look bad because most people that have met Natalia or know about Natalia or have come across Natalia have constantly said how kind she is to people. So now you're really looking bad because you're attacking somebody that most people feel are you know are most people feel are just someone who's very, a nice person, a kind person, a good person. And so it just looks terrible. It looks terrible. And I feel like I just recently saw a message or another post where she kind of doubled down on the whole thing. And I don't know. I don't know who's representing her or who's giving her advice about her social media or just her posts, but I think they really need to talk to her because this does not look good. Every podcast I listen to have said some very nasty things about her because of what she's said. So,
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's very
yeah.
unfortunate. My understanding is that she said her Instagram accounts are private.
Yeah,
But I mean, when you said your Instagram accounts are private, that tells me you know you screwed up.
right. And that means you're getting bombarded with stuff. That's,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, it's just, and she's kind of had this streak in the past. Like I've heard this about her before that she's had like a very kind of negative, outlook when she loses, sore loser type of outlook when she loses, which is it's really unfortunate because she does have a great physique, and when she does come in shape, you know, she does great. She's dethroned Shanique Grant, who was considered by most to be the best women's physique Olympia, of all time at that time. So, so she definitely has the look, the physique. It's just I wish the personality kind of followed that. So
100%.
yeah, so you were saying about Maureen. So what's going on with the bikini Olympia controversy? I actually am out of the loop on this one. Well, what was going on with that?
So apparently, my understanding, and I'm not super well versed in bikini, is
Same.
Laura Lee came in looking very soft and just not like herself. In fact, I think she placed six, is my understanding.
Look at that. Hmm.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. And I understand that quite a few people are really upset with the Olympia champion Maureen.
Okay.
I like,
Yes. So
yeah,
Laura Lee placed sixth. Yes, correct. Laura Lee Chapato, sixth place. Hmm.
yes. And, looking at Maureen, she's a beautiful woman. You know what I thought was interesting? And I was looking at her physique. It is a softer physique. It's very beautiful.
Hmm.
It almost feels like they were pulling some of that OG physique look, like way back from when it started.
Hmm.
And it's almost interesting to me because I feel like that this is the last Olympia before Fit Model comes in. So it's almost like in my mind, they were paying like a homage to what bikini is, what it became, and like now what it's like they're sending bikini off on its own way before Fit Model comes in by like selecting a competitor that used to represent what bikini first was, and
Mhm.
then they just kind of went poof. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's bikini. They're all
Yeah,
very beautiful.
yeah, it's interesting. I have a very hard time judging bikini. It's just and
You
also,
don't know what they're looking for. Bikini is crazy. Like it boggles my mind because one year the judges want, a very like hard, like harder look, and then the next year they want a softer look, and then the next year they want something in between, and then it's just it's bikini's a
mhm.
madhouse. I would never
Yeah,
want to
it's
compete in
and
that
it's
division. I feel
it,
like everything just changes with the breadth of at least in figure, physique, and bodybuilding. We've got clear cut guidelines as to what we're doing.
right, right. Yeah, it's very and can you imagine how frustrating that is for uh if it's frustrating for us looking at it, how frustrating it is for people that are competing in it because you don't know what kind of look you're trying to bring in. So you're just trying to bring in what you feel might win the show, and then maybe it will, maybe it won't. I mean, Maureen definitely has like a softer, more appealing, more, I guess I should say more overall appealing, like to the masses, even outside of bodybuilding, like look. Um, she's got the physique that like most people like outside of bodybuilding would love to have, that kind of look. And so, or most women, and so I definitely think that like she's got a good look there, but it's always just interesting on what they're choosing because Laura Lee sometimes comes in a little bit harder and it's a good look. I like it, but it's not always the look that they want. And sometimes it is. And sometimes it is the look that they want. So it's just really strange. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
bikini's a tough division. It's so subjective. It is so subjective. I don't know. Then that they just like change the rules. No,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not doing that division. No, no, thank you.
It's hard to put it in words, and I can see that like with the way you're speaking, like you're trying to put it in words, but it's hard to put in words, and you don't. It's just it's one of those things where you're like, okay, well, like I want to talk about it, I want to analyze it, but at a certain point, I'm at a standstill because I'm just confused. I don't know. And they all look great. All of them look great in their own way. And they all look slightly different.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's just hard to know what the judges are looking for. I think it's that, and now of course is going to be what's the other division that we just talked
Fit,
about? I totally forgot.
fit model.
Fit model. I
Fit
think
model.
those two divisions are going to be very, very difficult, to judge. Whenever you have divisions that have less muscle and you're
You
going,
have to rely more on beauty. You have to, it's like, who do you think? And then it becomes more of the beauty pageant aspects.
yes,
Yeah.
100%,
And
100%. And
how do you
it's,
judge on that? I don't know.
yeah. And everybody's got their own standard, right? Like everybody thinks one is more beautiful than the other. And so it's a taste, type of situation. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I do wish they incorporate a little bit of muscle into bikini just because it would give a little bit more structure to the judging. Um, but that's just me. But then again, you risk of everyone continuously getting bigger, and I think that's what they're afraid of with all the divisions except open. Like I think that's what they're afraid of. So,
Yeah. And then now with Fit Model coming in, I feel that now bikini can evolve to the division that it is truly meant to be. I
mhm,
honestly prefer the harder, lean look for bikini
mhm,
and cut off right at size and symmetry because bikini they don't want the shoulders and the glutes being symmetrical like they want with figure. Figure is
mhm,
very balanced, very symmetrical. Whereas, bikini is smaller, more glute focused. Wellness is its whole different category. It is like out there. But
yeah.
No, I feel like with fit model, bikini should be allowed to evolve to what it should be.
Yeah, I feel like fit model is going to become what bikini used to be, and then
Yeah.
bikini is going to have that open, kind of openness to do something else,
I bet you. I bet you next year they're gonna go back to that harder look again. I
Yeah,
bet
yeah.
you that pendulum is gonna swing.
And that's when you're going to have somebody like Laura Lee and some of these other ones that have a more harder look to kind of move up to the front. I think that's what's going to happen. I agree with you. But but people like Ashley Callwasser, they really impress me. And the reason she impresses me is because no matter what the standards are, she might not be winning the Olympias now, but she's always coming in top five.
Oh,
No matter what the standards are, she's always somewhere in the top five. And that is extremely commendable. She's like the Dexter Jackson of, women's bikini. It's like no matter who's competing, no matter what the standards are, no matter what year it is, she's always in the top five, which is incredible to me. So,
I absolutely admire her
mhm.
consistency. Her consistency is unparalleled, out of this world.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. Totally agree. So, yeah, I guess we kind of covered everything. Overall, you felt like the Olympia really represented itself well as far as this year.
For the most part, I mean, at
Mhm.
least for figure and for women's physique, yeah, 100%
Yeah.
for those divisions, absolutely. Even for, female bodybuilding with Andrea winning it again, and that's what I love about those divisions. We have our standard. We
Mm.
know what to expect for the most part. It doesn't change with the blowing of the winds.
Right, right. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the results. I'm not super great on controversy. I wish things would be a little bit different, but it's a very emotional sport.
Yeah, I think bodybuilding has is really taken a turn. I think within the last like 5 years, we
Mhm.
have really advanced. There's so many more people competing in the amateur and the professional levels. There's so many more people interested in bodybuilding and weightlifting is being promoted. Um, Money is going up, and yeah, I know that there is some controversy in that too, that the men's divisions are going up, others aren't going up as high, but overall it's still progressing forward. And we can get into that at another time, but it's just overall I think bodybuilding has really taken a turn because I think it's been kind of stagnant for some years,
Mhm.
and now it's just shooting straight up. It's you never know where it's going to go, but it seems to be just moving at accelerated rate.
And honestly, thank God. Really, thank God, because you're right. For a time, bodybuilding wasn't popular. I would say what, maybe like early 2010s ish, 10, 15 years ago, we didn't see the love of health and fitness and bodybuilding that we're seeing today. And thank God, because we live at a time where, we're one of the most unhealthiest countries, we're one of the most obese countries, we're overfed and undernourished. I'm absolutely loving the turn that the sport is taking, and the interest and the love, the outpouring of support. It means that our sport is going to survive, which for a time it was getting kind of sketch there.
Yeah, yeah, it sure was. It was getting kind of sketchy, and I didn't know which way it was going to go, but now it seems to be thriving. And I think a part of it is just having a few superstars that helps. Somebody like just for example, like a C-Bum that helps. And then other things I just think social media as as it has its evils as well, it definitely had some benefits into promoting health and fitness, overall. So I definitely think that we're moving, we're definitely moving in the right direction for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah. So what's the plan tonight? You're just gonna get some rest, training tomorrow?
Oh, I got me a steak waiting for me. Your girl is growing. We're trying to put on some muscle. So I got a big old steak. I got a big old potato. And I got some broccolis, and I'm gonna munch on them and have a protein shake before bed and wake up and hit back tomorrow morning.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm holding you up from that. So I really appreciate you, always coming on. I always have a great time. So and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you so much for having me. I
All right.
absolutely love being on your show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Have a good
care.
night.
Bye-bye.
Mm,
Good
bye.
night.